My dad gave my $150,000 inheritance to my stepbrother. He forgot I'm a lawyer now. I was standing in the middle of my tiny apartment in Boston, still wearing my suit from court, when the call came through. "Your father passed," the voice on the other end said gently. My throat tightened. It didn't matter how long we've been distant, losing a parent still knocks the wind out of you. I collapsed onto the worn-out couch, grief slowly leaking in through the cracks I'd spent years sealing shut. My father and I hadn't spoken in over a year. Not since he remarried a woman half his age and, almost overnight, I became the forgotten daughter. At 29, I had carved out a life for myself, a modest law career, a quiet apartment, and friends who felt more like family. But that didn't erase the child inside me who once clung to his legs, who waited on the porch for him to come home. The funeral was small. He didn't have many friends left. My stepmother, Patricia, arrived late, her makeup perfect, sunglasses oversized. Beside her was my stepbrother, Chase. 19, cocky, and already talking about taking over Dad's truck business. It wasn't even his dad. After the service, Patricia pulled me aside in the parking lot, her voice as sugary and sharp as I remembered. "Just so you know," she said, not a hint of remorse in her tone, "your father left everything to Chase. He wanted him to have a strong start." I blinked. Everything. The house, the savings, the inheritance, $150,000, I think. He wanted to help Chase get through college. But I stuttered. That was my college fund. He told me it was being saved for me since I was 10. She shrugged. "Well, life changes." She walked away like it was a normal Tuesday. I sat in my rental car, staring blankly at the dashboard, my heart cracking in new and unfamiliar ways. I wasn't angry. Not exactly. I wasn't even jealous of Chase. I just felt erased. Rewritten out of a story I helped start. But then, something strange happened. I remembered the final thing my dad ever said to me, an offhand comment during our last argument. "You think being a lawyer gives you power? Life isn't fair, kid." I had replied quietly, "No. But it gives me a voice." Back in Boston, I requested the will. As his only biological child, I had legal rights, even if I didn't want the money for myself. The document arrived a week later, and just as Patricia said, it named Chase as the sole beneficiary. But something was off. The signature looked mechanical. 2 weeks of quiet investigation uncovered the truth. The will had been altered 6 months ago, when my father had already begun to suffer from early-onset dementia. His mental state would have rendered any legal decisions void. I had enough evidence to take it to court. I could challenge the will. I could win. But here's the thing, somewhere along the line, I stopped asking, what would win me the money? And started asking, what would heal this? Because even with my legal training, the pain wasn't about dollars. It was about dignity. I called Chase. He answered like he was too busy, probably playing video games. "Hey," I said softly. "This is going to sound weird. But I'm not fighting you." There was a pause. "Wait, what? You're not contesting the will?" "No. I could. And honestly, I'd probably win. But I think there's a better way." Another pause. "Why?" "Because our dad made choices. Some I agree with. Some I don't. But I don't want us to destroy each other over what's left of him." He was quiet for a moment, and then said, with surprising softness, "He talked about you sometimes. Said he missed you." I swallowed hard. He didn't show it. I think he didn't know how. I sighed. "There's one condition, though. Here it comes. I want you to split the inheritance, not with me. With someone who actually needs it." "What do you mean?" "There's a kid at the shelter where I volunteer on weekends. Single mom. Brightest kid I've met. Wants to be an engineer. He's got nothing. And you want me to set up a scholarship. In Dad's name. Help someone who needs a strong start. He laughed, but not mockingly. You're serious. I am. You keep half. Use it for school. But make the rest count. There was silence. Then he said, almost like a different person, let me think about it. A month passed. I heard nothing. Then one Saturday, I got an envelope in the mail. Inside was a copy of a new scholarship agreement, the Thomas E. Whitaker Foundation for Aspiring Engineers. Funded by a $75,000 donation. Chase's name was nowhere on it. I sat at my kitchen table, tears welling up. Not because I got the money. I didn't. But because I got something better. Closure. A week later, Chase showed up at the shelter. No cameras, no fanfare. Just a skinny kid in a hoodie, helping stack boxes. We didn't talk much that day. But when we did, it was real. And maybe that was the point. That we had both been broken in different ways by the same man, and now we were figuring out how to rebuild, together. People think power comes from winning. But sometimes, power comes from choosing not to fight. From showing up with grace when it would be easier to show up with fury. My father gave my inheritance to someone else. But he forgot something. I'm a lawyer now. And I know how to write new stories, stories where kindness is a choice, not a consequence. And in the end, that's the legacy I'm proud to carry. Because love, when done right, isn't a transaction. It's a transformation.